And we are live. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Welcome back for another one. All right. Today is Wednesday. A wonderful Wednesday, might I add. You know what I'm saying? Let me get this thing situated so we can bring some good vibes, some continuous good vibes into the building. All right. I'm your host, Brother Blue. I am joined by my co host today. All right. My co host for today will be BlueDream. All right, we are broadcasting from the mystical mountains of Mount Shasta. We are still in retreat mode. You know what I mean? We're still charging up. We are still harnessing the light, so we can bring it back to Stone Mountain, to Atlantis. And we're going to harness the energy of Atlantis and we're going to bring that to Sedona. You're going to see me. Yes, you're going to see me doing a lot of acrobatics like this, bear claw acrobatics during this stream, because we have an insurmountable amount of insects. They also want to hear what we're saying, to see our energy, and continuously. You also see a lot of cats because they're also, up here attracted to what we got going on with this energy. You know what I'm saying? Our energy has been vibrating so high that we have totally zapped our phones and shorted short circuit the chargers
and lost the charger.
So yeah, the charger vortex is open. I know that you can relate, y'all. That you got to charge it in 1 minute, it's gone. Sedona's happening September 22nd. It's about 2 slots left. So if that's something that you intentionally want to participate in, don't wait, because after Stone Mountain, I would surmise that, you know what I'm saying, it's going to be gone. Take some gold, then we can get into it. I just lit up some crystal menthol, not meth, menthol. Crystal menthol. This is part of our spiritual detox pack. I know this might sound like a commercial, but you feel me? These are actually healing modalities that help. It was able to help a lot of people during this retreat who had sinus issues, right? We sell it in the burner with the charcoal, with the crystals, along with rosemary, sage, Palo Santo, right? Crystal menthols, regular sage, gold thongs, burner charcoal, the whole bit. You can get all of this on goldwater.com. And it comes in a beautiful box, all packed up for you with your own burner, right? Because you need your own burner with you where you go, so you can clear up the air and bring the aromatherapy everywhere that you go. It's necessary and needed, especially during times like this when you have to smoke out the demons amongst you, right? So let me get some of this going. That's a good goal. Here you go, baby. Whew. Right. So, peace to you and yours. Again, salute, shout out to you wherever you are. I figured out how to, use my laptop to get on Instagram. So we was doing an IG post, and we were doing an IG post, and I was getting feedback because the StreamYard is streaming the audio and there's a late delay on Instagram. So I was hearing both feeds. My baby said just do it on YouTube. So here we are. We're waiting for the people to get in the building. I'll wait for about 5 more people, and then we could take off. You'll be in Kemet. Please hold it down while you're in Kemet. We want to synchronize our meditation. So even if you have, I'll be able to drop a time. We're going to do a global quantum meditation in Stone Mountain and Sedona. And we're going to focus on the heart chakra of the planet, which is Hawaii, in particular Maui, in particular Lahaina, right? Because if the heart chakra of the planet is disenabled, then they knock off the crown in the root. And there's so much that we learned here about the crown in the root that y'all niggas been slipping all along. So we'll catch up with that. We'll follow up with that. You know what I'm saying? But we have to be purposeful and intentional and understand, the job that's in front of us, the abilities that we have to execute that job and what's at stake. Right. So Stone Mountain is going to be a very intentional, open heart demonstration ceremony for calling upon, the cosmic covering. You know what I'm saying? Uh, we started last year speaking about creating cosmic covering for our children in the age of C19. We got to get back to that because of this campaign that has been reinvigorated. But we really have to understand the role that Lahaina or the heart chakra plays, Hawaii plays in the planetary Earth grid system. And yeah, so we got to get into our heart space. You know what I'm saying? And I'm here working on my heart, learning hard lessons and removing some of the rust and getting that thing, where it needs to be as a resonating beacon signal. You know, I was able to get into the 5-year-old version of myself on this trip, and it was amazing thing, for my own personal healing journey. You know what I'm saying? It was important for me to be the best version of myself as a healer, to be able to heal whatever part of me as an adolescent that either experienced trauma, because the trauma you could experience could be um, being ignored, right? Not your voice not being heard, right? Rejection, um, you know what I'm saying? Just all of these things that we may go through as children, and the support is not always there, you know what I'm saying? For whatever reason. And I had resentment issues as a child based on certain supports not being there. Like my mother, she spent a lot of time with Sabi, and this was the mission, you feel me, to uplift fallen humanity. And we were along for the ride, you know what I'm saying? And I can never hold it against her. But I remember days and nights where I'm like, damn, like I need my mother, you know what I'm saying? Why is that same attention and focus not being focused on us, And then I was with my father, and he had a lot of time. Well, he he's a professor, so he works, you know what I'm saying? And it left us alone. We had a lot of time by ourselves to be imaginative and to be adventurous. So I can't blame them for me finding the streets. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't their fault. They did everything that they were supposed to do. You know what I mean? And we still ended up in a situation, and no regrets, because everything that I went through and encountered in my younger developmental years, made it possible for me to be who I am today. And those periods and times also taught me borders, and you know what I mean? I was in the belly of the beast. I was in, Jadena, which is called hell on earth. I traversed these places in the underworld, and I still had morals. I still had rules. I still had things that I wasn't willing to do. I still never sold a gram of crack in my life, and I had the ability to sell upwards to keys. You know what I'm saying? So I already knew I had limits. I had personal boundaries. I had things that, I was centered in, that I was not willing to ever waver with. You feel me? Even in the midst of all of that. And you're not gonna know who you are until you find yourself in situations that are very calling and demanding on spirit, you got to make real life decisions. You know what I'm saying? And that don't make me better than nobody because I've done horrendous shit, but not to the degree where I can't sleep with myself at night. You know what I'm saying? I did it based on, momentary decisions and operating off of faulty information. So I feel that it's very imperative that we share information every opportunity that we get so we're not operating off of faulty information and living with regrets. And later on in life, you gotta unpack your life backwards. And you 50-year old, but you crying, still getting back to the 5-year old you that never got what it needed. You know what I'm saying? So with all that being said, like I said, this is a weird culmination of time cycles, and it's not really a time to gloat. It's a solemn period in time. But it also is a time to make an acknowledgement about decisions made to get you to where you are at right now. So I'm living in the decision that I made that was a sacrifice in 2017, when I heard all of the rumors, about a young man that I kind of feel responsible to a degree. Like I met Polite in 2007. I was the first person that I know outside of the community or in the community to meet Polite when he wasn't Michael Novak. He was in his demonstration as Polite, but he had a small following of the women who ended up being his wives and their children. And he was teaching out of a bookstore in Crown Heights. I was living on Sterling Place at the time, and he had a shop on Schenectady, um, between Sterling and whatever block that is. Just the next block over, he had a bookstore, and a young lady I knew named Madam Butterfly, she frequented his business, and she didn't agree with the stuff that he was teaching at the time, so she wanted to debate him, and she came and got me to hold her down because she wanted to debate this man, and I was like, "Yo, you always debating men. You always challenging them. Like, is it that serious?" She was like, "Yeah, I don't like what he's teaching. I don't like how he's teaching." I think she was really taken to offense that he had multiple wives. More so, his demonstration of his masculinity offended her. And then I went to class with them. I was holding her down because she wanted to debate him. But what I found is that I was able to assist his brother in teaching better. You know what I'm saying? Because I was asking the right questions that were not confrontational, right? I was assisting him. I was aiding him in his ability to teach better by suggesting things to him, and he was accepting it in real time. And so she never got around to debating him because everybody in class that day benefited from the way that we were working together, and everybody in class benefited from we had more of a cohesiveness. We were able to break the ice and like really get on some family shit, for lack of a better term. Like there was talking of breaking bread, and there was commerce being done because the wife and the children wanted to buy the drip, so we was doing business, and it extended into a friendship. You know what I'm saying? And then I would go back and see him frequently at his shop, and I say, "Yo, we got something that we created called a conscious community, and there's stages, available for individuals such as yourself that are teachers to come forward and teach our community new ways, to learn." He was a student of Malachi York at the time, and there's many people in our community that were either current members of that society or past members of the different iterations of it, because the before they were Nawubians, they were the Ansar Law community. They've gone through many iterations, you know what I'm saying? And I extended an invite to this young man to come into a space that I felt that I helped create, initially in 2001 when we were building these stages, the metaphysical underground, and the lecture venues at LIU. I was in the backdrop. Y'all see me on the videos, but I had a little part to play initially with putting some pieces together. And I initially built those stages for AA Rashid when he came home to show a support, a net to capture him so he doesn't fall. Um, Once again, believing in these brothers' genius and their intellect, and knowing that if we can furnish them a platform, if we can modify what consciousness looks and sounds like, we can reach a different audience. You know what I'm saying? So that was '07. 10 years after that, I found myself having to distance myself from Polite. In a video that we did on May 22nd, it came out May 22nd, 2017 on Brother Rich's channel. Me and Red did a statement, a PSA in the community where we were removing our support of Brother Polite in our community, and we were calling upon him, to come clean. You know what I'm saying? The accusations of his improprieties had become too much to ignore, and it was spilling into, what my brand, because my brand was associated with him initially. After '07, he came in at '09, November 14, 2009, on my birthday. There was a lecture that King Simon did where he brought Dr. Sabi back to Brooklyn, right? It goes Sabi right here. Here you go. Here go the elder, right? King Simon brought Sabi in. So this was King Simon's first lecture in the community. This was his introduction, and he brought Brother Polite along to open up. So this was Brother Polite's introduction. This also was the place where I introduced Seven Heaven, Seymour's. I debuted my drink there. It was a lot of firsts that day. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, this was Polite's introduction into the community in '09. And then it was on and popping after that. He took off. And coincidingly, this is when we started Know the Ledge Media, this channel that I'm on right now. We started this around that time. And I also started Know the Ledge Radio in January of 2010. And Polite was a main feature on our Know the Ledge radio roster, of which Minister Inky also got introduced to the community. Raku got introduced by way of me hearing him on Abundance Child, who initially is accredited with introducing me to Blog Talk. Her and Nikki Love were the two gracious hosts that brought us on first, and we realized that we had a knack for radio, me and Red. So I credit them both with our humble beginnings, Nikki Love and Abundance Child. And then we were able to extend, those invites to other people that were on smaller platforms to get on our bigger platform. And there's a litany of names. I'm not gonna go through all of them right now. So Polite had a very monumental run from 2009 to 2017. That's a lot of time, and a lot of people had gripes during those times about them getting beat, about them not getting the services that they paid for, not getting the products that they paid for. And we made repeated attempts, over a dozen on numerous occasions throughout those years to remind him of his duties and obligations to community, and just as a business and a brand, just as a member of what our circle of teachers and healers and people that really stand on integrity for the most part. You know what I'm saying? There's not a lot of it in the community, but it comes, very far in between. So for those that are the flame keepers of integrity, we wouldn't trade that for anything. And often our brands get damaged because of the company that we keep. You know what I'm saying? And it was no difference when it came to Polite. It was damaging the brand because the accusations went from I didn't get my books to I paid this brother $10,000 for a status correction, and I never got it, or I got 2 pieces of paper that were did not amount to status correction. When somebody showed me the documents, I was like, oh, this nigga is really scamming, like for real. Like when I say 2 pieces of paper and not even filled up, like 4 lines on one paper, three. that- not to laugh, but it was crazy what was taking place, the way that he was abusing his obligations in his community as a teacher and as somebody that people looked to for leadership. They trusted this man, extremely intelligent, the sharpest of his epoch at that moment in time that he was doing what he did, right? Nobody could fuck with Polite. Let's just make that plain and clear, for a lot of different reasons, right? But that does not give you license or wherewithal to believe your own mythos. You know what I'm saying? To to abuse. You know what I'm saying? And there was abuse taking place where things wasn't even necessary. It was just getting caught up. You in the limelight. Things are moving at warp speed now. You got access to stuff that you've never had access to. You finally starting to touch some paper. You could do things for your family, right? People want you here. They want you there. They was printing their own books and printing them up. So it's like if you're on the road traveling and you got the printer with you, you got 5 boxes of paper, but you stop one place and y'all gotta go to the next. You already got issues because the wife is drained. She don't want to drive no more. You know what I'm saying? You going cross country. There's a lot that goes into that. So it's like, all right, son, I understand where you haven't made your obligations, you haven't made these people's orders, but you got to make up for it. And you got to make up for it with interest. You got to let these people know that you appreciate them. And these are continuous stories and reminders of things that's necessary to bring yourself back into alignment so you can shape up to be the thing that you say that you are. And that's the most important part of all of this because he's not the only one. You feel me? By 2017, there was just too much proof that was brought to us for us to ignore it. So we had to proverbially fall on the sword because at this time, you know, this is when everybody in the community was denying it and they were not ready to make a stand against it. Everyone was looking to get in his good graces because this when he started hanging out with celebrity. You feel me? And I'm like, that don't mean nothing to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I come from that. So that's not an excuse for you to be, nobody's beyond reproach. I don't care who you hang out with. You feel me? That's even more of a reason that you should be held responsible, my nigga, because you out there representing us on a larger platform at a higher height. The fall is going to be even that much more monstrous. Where did Nature Boy come into the conscious? Nature Boy and Young Pharaoh are born from the poisonous branch of Brother Polite. You understand that? These were people who were born from the tree that is Brother Polite, but it's a poisonous tree. So when you look at the people who were born from that tree, then you can see, right? Not only the poison, but you could see the trauma bonding that these men were attracted to his poor light because they have the same trauma issues.
And the people too.
And the people too. And the people as well. You
Because
feel me?
the only thing that makes these people or anybody famous or um, what's the word? I don't know, famous or have any type of status,
Coveted,
coveted, whatever,
coveted,
is
or have a status.
when a mass group of people is paying attention to you. Yeah, it's not. I mean, it is the person, but as well as the people. So as people, we gotta have discernment. We gotta have our eyes open. No nature boy can really exist without people.
Without people being asleep at the wheel, you feel me? To not recognize the 1,000 flags
Because
that
they're
are
gonna be
presented
out
to you.
there. Yeah, they're gonna be
Like
out there.
literally, because Brother Polite did a video, a music video the other day, right? There was about women sucking on his phallus and things of that nature. Somebody sent it to me. My brother sent it to me. You know what I'm saying? So I was compelled to look at it for the audacity factor to say, ain't this brother up against charges? Like, isn't he about to be sentenced? And this is the type of material that you're putting out into the world at this phase. And then I went and read the comment and I see mad goofy niggas that I know that have attempted to stand next to me still to this day in this nigga's comment section. Niggas who I know, who I have told, yo, don't be caught on the wrong side of the fence fucking with people that we don't fuck with. That's just on a personal level. It's like, why would you even align yourself to be in this person's comment section to fuck with them on your own? How are you out here making these judgments calls? And some of these individuals got accusations against them about improprieties with women. So the fruits don't fall too far from the tree. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm trying to explain to you is that, especially with me coming off of this healing retreat, it would do me no justice to chastise this man or point a finger and attempt to appear that I'm better than him. No, he is signaling where the healing is needed in this community. He is turning on the light to the fact that a lot of people in leadership positions have undealt with trauma. So until you see somebody come out and do a healing retreat for 30, 60, 90 days, right? Until they exercise all of their demons. Until you could do vibrational, where's them aura readings at? Right? If you're not getting, if you don't have empirical proof on who these people are, who they say that they are, my nigga, stay far away. You are playing yourself for a fucking fool. And that's the only thing that you're gonna get is the results of a fool being played. So this is me and my baby, right? We've got our aura read yesterday, right? We got the same aura. You know what I'm saying? We got the same aura. And everything about us that you need to know is in these page reports. It'll tell you where our strengths and our weaknesses is at. It'll tell you where the work that needs to be done is. So you should not come to me for advice on something that I'm not strong in that particular space or that force. You should ask me to show you where I'm resonating at energetically before you ask for assistance in that particular area. I could give you advice as someone who might need to work through it, but we're gonna be working it through it together. You feel me? Right? So this look, we just took it. This was yesterday. Okay? This was just yesterday. We have the exact same aura. I think that's a great example as of two people being equally yoked, right? The fact that we have undergone certain transformational ceremonies where we have been spiritually married before we got physically married. That's why you see us in all white. We're going through a year-long ceremony to consecrate our spiritual union. You know what I'm saying? And again, that don't make us better than anyone. We're just sacrificing to do the things that are necessary that stands on integrity, right? That is not only for us, but if there's anybody that's watching, you can see from afar and then also show you the receipts.
Because this is what we value. This is what is very important to us.
Right. But you would run behind the people who, you know what I'm saying, talk a good one and make things look amazing on high definition cameras, and you're being duped by illusion. You're being duped by sound and light. You're being duped by false light or poor light. And it's the same thing. I mean, this is your narrative. This is your story. These are your lessons. This is your beckoning. You know what I'm saying? This is the badge. This is the shit that's on the community specifically. You call yourself conscious, you call yourself aware, but you don't use none of the tools that have been afforded you to aid and assist in your sight, right? In your sight, in the things that you see. You're still observing things with the eyes of flesh and not with the eyes of spirit.
And outwardly, I notice or an observation that I made is that people are not trusting themselves. You're still looking for somebody outside of you that you think has more information, has more experience. And sometimes people do because, like Blue Red, this is what they do every day. They wake up and they do this work for others who may feel like they don't have the time or the resources to do so, but never neglect your inner discernment, your inner compass, your common sense. You have it for a reason. Nobody has that over than you. Like my mom always tell me, nobody's better than you, nobody's smarter than you. And it doesn't mean like you're the smartest person or the best person over everybody, but nobody is over you. So always trust yourself. If something don't feel right, something don't sound right, you know better, hold off. Don't force yourself onto something that is not resonating with you because you think somebody has something more than you or something that you want. Always trust in yourself and always use your common sense when you're listening to whatever and take whatever resonates and move along. You don't have to marry that person because everybody got some shit going on. They're people. You feel me?
So let me say, yes,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. You know, 2016, and again, we stood out, we stepped out on a person that we considered to be a leader in our community, which was Africa Bambata, and we called for a press conference because we refused to be silent about the accusations. Once I met B Stinger, and actually once I met Hassan Campbell for the first time, um, we could not ignore the accusations. Right? They seemed like it was enough merit for us to ask him to speak on his own behalf, and that's why we called the um, the press conference. And out of the press conference, so many people started reaching out to me about their personal abuse experiences, not with Africa Bambata, but in their own personal space. And that's where these retreats were born from. Mount Shasta retreat started in 2016, I believe, and that was born from the fact that there was nobody in the community that was dealing with trauma, with physical trauma, sexual abuse, mental trauma. There were just healers that were dealing with, herbs and things of that nature, but nobody was really dealing with getting down to the deep seated roots of where the trauma is at. It's in the sacral, it's in the root chakra, and only plant medicine can help assist that. So I was so gracious to be reunited with a friend of mine, Divine Elohim, who was up here in the hills of Mount Shasta, and he reminded me that he had access to plant medicine up here, and also, location that people can come and heal. And my prior visit to Shasta in 2015, that was a download that I got from the mountain itself, that it can assist in healing, especially women and their trauma. It can transmute it. Um, so we started the healing retreats here in 2017 when I got into the fracas with Polite by calling him out, and his community supported him after we called him out, mind you, right? So this was my quote unquote friends turned their backs on me and my brother, and sided with somebody who we had an envelope of proof on like this big, but the mission was not to destroy Polite at the time. The mission was to keep Polite honest enough that he can come forward, fall on his sword, show humility, say that he made mistakes, and us as a community, we will help him heal, right? And we were sent to do this by elders, especially because the elders like we're gonna hold it down and hold you down, and in the minute that we did it, the elders abandoned us. You feel me? So you have to really understand what's going on. The minute that it didn't look like it was going to be in their favor, the elders abandoned our mission and sided with Polite and the other people who, at that time, ironically, had a bigger platform, a platform that we helped create, mind you. Like literally, I showed the nigga how to start the channel and then gave him the content to help create it or to get it spicy. You feel me? These same platforms turned against us because we were coming at the cash cow. You feel me? We came at the cash cow. So I will never forget that. I will never forgive some of these elders. They're elders, they're not elders. They pussy, you know what I'm saying? They're not, and the community is in the condition that it's in today because these elders are not warriors. They don't want to fight the good fight. They are one-sided. They don't have the 300, 720-degree observational view of what needs to be taken. They have not done the healing. They're still traumatized. They are locked into one-dimensional thinking, you know what I'm saying? And they're failures, you know what I mean? And they have shrouded their failure and, I got love for the community. You read some books, my nigga, and you've recited some shit, but you have failed to lead. And it's a lot of them, and it might be your faves as well. So, and Sabi told me this. We're here. Sabi told me who to fuck with and who not to fuck with, and I fucked with them anyway. I found out the hard way, and they out here. They struggling. They looking flabby and sick, and it's deserving because when they could have stood up and been men. So and Polite was assaulting these niggas. It's like they sided with him, and he didn't even fuck with them. Polite was the one that came and pulled the blanket off of the elders and started juxtaposing himself against the elders because they was not financially stable. And this made all of the elders feel very uncomfortable. So they came to us in quiet to perform a hit squad on him because they had the receipts. The receipts wasn't about the people. The receipts was really about Polite exposing them and making them feel uncomfortable about their financial insecurities. When we go to do what we have to do, right? And we're putting our career, we're putting our reputation and our life on the line, right? Because this nigga was still running around with Goon Squad. So it ain't like it couldn't have went somewhere else potentially if that was the case. If he felt so threatened that we was finna destroy the brand and expose the scam, which at that point was up to $1 million something dollars, it could have went to the street, right? So there was a lot on the line that we had to sacrifice in order to make this move. And then even to bring Brother Rich into it, shout out to Brother Rich. Thank you for making that sacrifice because he didn't have to do that. And that put him in a very weird place. So you also have to understand that he has been lifted in terms of his support by the spirit and by the people because the foundation that he came from abandoned him as well, right? So there was no more Sonetta TV. There was no, I don't want to say Baba TV and put him in that light, but there was really no more Harlem support. There was none of that, right? They pulled the plug on us for going against, you know what I'm saying, the $1 billion baby. And then after we made the proclamation, everything started falling apart for him. I had came out here to Shasta right afterwards. I had to I went inward because I started seeing a lot of stuff. But I had been told Red that this was, I was like, them ain't your friends and this shit is fake. You know what I'm saying? I was really wanted to get my brother back from the grip and the hold that stuff had on his mind. So I was able to retreat. And what happened during my time of retreating is Jay-Z came out with the advertisement for 444. So there was 444s popping up everywhere when the community was going against me. And I was just like, I don't need the people or these people. I just need the cosmos, right? I just need this where my conversation with the cosmos, this where my comforting in the cosmos, this where my relationship with the creator grew stronger because there was just signs and symbols everywhere reminding me who the fuck I am and this don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Because this too shall pass. And I ain't do the right thing and got penalized for it in a social setting, but I still was able to understand it that it was for the better because I was shedding, you know what I'm saying, unnecessary weight. People that were not in my favor that I didn't need. And then we went and made the song Prince, and that was that, change up my circle of friends, you know what I'm saying? Neteru circle the twins. And I remember I left New York probably at the time because I had a retreat out here to Shasta. And it was before because the album came out June 30th. So it just had to be the middle of June, like June 14th. Remember, I told you the video came out May 22nd. Polite called me right before. He went live with Sonetta. And he was like, bro, I gotta respond, to your video because it's not going in my favor. it's all going the wrong way. He's like, I'm gonna say something. It's not gonna be this, you know. So he already pinned me in that he was gonna make a response video. You know what I'm saying? And I hadn't spoken to him since then. But the minute that I flew into Denver, because we connect to Denver connects a flight Texas to Oregon, and then we drive down to Shasta. When I flew into Denver, I get a text, and it's from Polite, and this is in 2017, June. He's like, Jay-Z trying to run with your swag. These niggas trying to steal your wave with this 444 shit. And I ain't respond. And that was the last time I heard from him. You know, up until that point. And then the charges came out. And then I went to Shasta and I did ceremony out here. And I made a video and I told a brother that I was like, you just got hit by 2 twin Scorpio stingers. I'm like, the venom is gonna set in slow, but it's gonna body you. And like I look at you as a dead man walking. Not that I will lift a hand and do something to you, but you got hit with a truth bomb, and there's no way of dodging it. I helped sew the fabric and the threading together that made you who you are. If I pull the thread out, nigga, it's gonna come tumbling down. And that weekend it started because that's when him and Yada, another brother who was talking crazy about Polite. I got the video as well. You know, we did the interview with him when he first was in Atlanta, and then he turned around and he dick riding, right? He's underneath his sack, and then they got caught with a transvestite that weekend in West Hollywood. So I started seeing the downfall, and he ain't never been the same since. And then when the indictment came out, it had the 44s in it, and it was exactly 4 years and 4 months to the day that we made the video. You can do the knowledge if you want to. Go to see his case number. It's a 44 case number, and do the tallying of the amount of time because it happened in May 22nd, and he caught the charge in August, but the infraction took place in February. Right, so it was 4 years and 4 months to the exact same time. And right, he gets hit with the charges. It made me sick to my stomach, but I was not surprised because my thing is this, right? When you take things from people in the community, right? That's a mild form of rape because there's a trust factor that's involved, and people are spending their hard-earned money with you for services or products. And when you disobey that trust factor, you know what I'm saying? When you disobey that trust factor, that's a small version of rape because people are opening up and they're letting you in, right? They're opening up and they're letting you in. They're allowing you in. You feel me? If you are destroying that trust, if you are denuding that trust, if you are dishonoring that trust, then it's almost like that's a small form of rape, right? Because you're transgressing against somebody. You're taking something that's not yours. You feel me? And a person is opening up and letting you in, and you're getting in there and you're doing things and you know what I'm saying? You're doing things that are unbecoming of what's considered to be your higher noble self. You know what I'm saying? You raping. So for me to see the manifestation of that rape come out later with a young woman, that was not a surprise. I've seen him. Let me leave that alone. But that was not a surprise. For those of us who've seen him in public settings, especially after the quote unquote, if for lack of a better term, for the fame, right? And he never gave a lecture again, right? And he just stopped teaching. The stuff that he's been teaching has been, the crypto, and we heard from Crypto Roots before he made transition. If you haven't seen that YouTube series, you might want to check it out. You might want to check. You might want to do some research into some of these people. You feel me? You might want to do some research into these people with all of this information that's available to you. So 20, because remember, he catches the charge in 2021. That's 4 years from 2017, right? In 2022, I'm in Miami, January. I have a mushroom breakthrough one day, right? And my heart chakra opened up, and I started calling people who think that they had problems with me, or people that I thought that I had problems with, and I just was squashing unnecessary issues because if we ain't running down on one another, I don't have blood libel in my heart for none of these individuals. Like, meaning I don't want to kill them or see their parents, like, because I'm a Scorpio, we take it to the tilt. It's like, I don't really got problems with you if I don't want to see you dead. So it's not a problem. So I was calling people and just making sure that they knew that we didn't have a problem, because problems look different. We just had a misunderstanding. So I wanted to call polite because I don't have a problem with him. I have an understanding. And I already knew what was about, what was going to take place. It was not my beck and call. I can't say that I put a curse on him. I'm saying that he cursed himself because I gave him an opportunity to come to the light. And we was going to support him in that opportunity, in that situation, like we were attempting to support Bambata. But he chose to do something different. So I already knew, what I'm saying, that there was going to be a price to pay, a penalty. And you just can't live your life. His magic has run out because he damn sure was working some magic, my nigga. Right? Whoever he got in his closet, some powerful motherfucking entities, man.
I don't want to believe people.
Because y'all going to be there for the nigga when he get out, ready to polish his motherfucking boots. It's just something about him that people were unwilling to let go of. But long story short, I called a brother, you know what I'm saying? And we spoke for like a minute because he was out on the town with his wives and I was out in Miami at night. Right? I leave that situation, boom. I'm flying in now to Arizona a few days later to go to the mineral show, but I fly into Denver. Feel me? Why when I fly into Denver in 2022, this had to have been February 1st, 2022, flying into Denver when I'm landing in the air like this, like we're coming out of 3,500 feet and I'm coming down the tarmac. I must have probably been at 500 feet and my text go off. And it was like, Peace King, when you get a chance, give me a call. I could probably pull it up. My phone is dead, but I would have pulled it up. And it was polite. So the last time that I heard from him was in 2017 when I was in Denver airport. And it was all of 5 years up until 2022, February 1st. And I'm flying into Denver airport and I get a text from him. And then when I land, I called the brother and we had a conversation. And I told him that I loved him. And I said that it's the love that we have for you that we were attempting to avoid what's happening to you now. This is love, my brother. Right? This is love. This is true love. Right? That I didn't want this for you. And this is what we were attempting to avoid by interceding on your behalf 5 years ago. Now look at it. He said, King, I'm going to be all right. I got my family. I said, so mote it be. You know what I'm saying? He said, I love you too, my brother. And I appreciate that. Right? In so many words, that it wasn't the right timing. And I said, brother, if you still want to come clean, if you still want to make a public statement, if you still want to fall on your sword to get reborn and come back anew, we're still here for you. I don't know if I'm gonna definitely stand right next to you, right? But the door is still open for you to come home, brother. And I think that opportunity is still afforded to him. The door is still open for that brother to come home. You know what I'm saying? Because as a teacher, you can teach one of the most important lessons, and that is how to fall on your sword. You know what I'm saying? How to kill your former self so you could be reborn in a new body in this life. You know what I'm saying? How you can correct some of your wrongs and get it done in this life. How you could redeem yourself and your spirit and your family and your legacy in this life, right? We don't want to see it go out the way that it is looking like it's going to go out. So today on Instagram, I'm seeing that, he took a guilty plea and he has possibly been sentenced to 17 years. And funny enough, that happened in 2017. And I'm not going to take this as a moment to be like, don't fuck with the pillars. The Scorpio is going to get you. I don't want to do that, because this is a solemn moment in time for the community, for us, for a tight knit community was a family initially, y'all. And there's no other way to explain it than that. You feel me? Yeah, our tight knit community when we came, you know what I'm saying? It was a family. It was a tight knit community. It was a family, and I cannot abandon family. Like our separation or denunciation for him was not saying, yo, this is not family. We're still responsible for one another as family, as community. I still have to be my brother's keeper because I opened the door. You know what I'm saying? I have done many of things to edify and amplify his light when it was shining. You know what I mean? So it would be remiss of me to like, you know what I mean? Like, I ain't fucking with this person at all ever. It's like, yo, I know that the level of healing that he needs is tantamount to a level that a lot of individuals in our community need. And if 8 out of 10 women in our community have been sexually abused, my nigga, there's a lot of deviance that is lurking in our community, in the hearts and the minds of these men. And not just the men alone, because the women also abuse. But it's a hell of a lot of niggas in our programming. Our programming has almost mandated that we are transgressors, that we violate. Y'all seen the Barbie movie with Ken? Right? You seen that hypermasculinity? This offset and debase because of the society that we live in. We're being taught by Westerners, by spaghetti Westerners and wrestlers. Westerners and wrestlers are the versions of white male masculinity that has been teaching us manhood for the longest. You feel me? Yeah, you know. All right, Red said he's not fucking with him ever. And granted, you know, I'm a healer. You know what I'm saying? And I have not found myself turning myself away from any call to heal.
Yeah, but you gotta learn also when to let go, because if that person is not ready to heal, it's not saying that you close the door on healing, but if they're not ready to heal, you can't continuously volunteer yourself to, you know, go down with them basically, because they don't understand the power of themselves. They don't understand the power that they can galvanize in the people. They still working through what they're working through. And until he's ready to really sit down and say, you know what, I realize this shit and I do need help and I do need to work, so I know I can go and get some work. You don't have to, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with
No.
but you don't have to put yourself on that altar. For Red, I completely understand because he has a daughter, you know. And while both sides need healing, that's a little girl who didn't ask for this.
Yeah.
And she didn't have no say so. Her mom wanted to be in this relationship. Her mom brought her along for the ride, and she had to take the brunt of the situation. So it's extremely unfair, and I think that's where a lot of the issues come, because somebody got hurt that had nothing to do with this. She didn't have a decision. So yeah, he needs healing, but that little girl needs healing too.
Absolutely.
So, again, he does it. It doesn't mean that the doors need to be closed on him, but he has to also, because this is part of his journey. The doors were open for him already to come in, you know, relinquish himself, come in, get love, whatever. He didn't want that. His journey was for him to go through this part. So maybe during this, he'll have an understanding. And if the doors are open and he's in the right mind space, maybe it can happen. But for Red, I understand because,
And I
yeah,
understand too, and I
he
understand
really don't want
everybody's
to.
position, in this particular demonstration. But like I said, these healing retreats, the retreats that I'm
But yes,
literally
these
on
are
now, were built for
these people.
people specifically. I, I don't know if we have had any abusers come. It's been for people who are looking to get to abuse or pain or just need healing on a deeper, spiritual cellular level. You feel me? But I'm sure at some point we're gonna sit with someone who, who has violated and
Right.
have been
And
violated,
been violated.
because you get one and the same when you open up doors to do this level of
Yes,
healing.
100%.
Um, but we will not forget this young lady, and this young lady will be part of our collective meditation on the mountain on Saturday. I want to say her name if we have her name, but I think we know enough about her, what I'm saying, to send out our blessings and our apologies for as a community. They need to stand up as a community and say, if this is a person who represented our community, we have to speak on behalf of our community that this person does not represent us. So there will be a collective um, disengagement and acknowledgement that this person does not represent us as a community.
Hmm.
You feel me? Um,
And then, excuse me, but as a community, I think moving forward, there needs to be an assessment of values and what's important to the community, because if not, you're gonna there's these type of people everywhere. There's a polite everywhere. There's a Jim Jones everywhere. You feel me? But if y'all don't have an agreement on what's allowed and what's not allowed based off characteristics, values, or whatever the case is you're gonna repeatedly have this issue. If you want to
right,
be a part of a community, you want to be a leader, you need to do proper inner work. We can't just talk
right.
about it. It has to be done.
So someone said, why would y'all leave a crack open for polite? Because it's more polites in the community. It's more polites in the community. They in this bitch. You feel me? Trust me when I tell you, they in here. So, um,
And it's easy to get in.
and it's easy to get in. Right? There are no thresholds. There's nothing. There's no criteria that's set in place for you to see them before they come. And then when they get well entrenched, it's very hard to get them out like ticks. So just understanding that and understanding the level of work that needs to be done. And I'm speaking about where I'm working at on the level I'm working on it, because I'm often working with the quote unquote teachers and leaders and things of that nature. They got shadows. They got shit that, what I'm saying. Some of them are able to contain and keep it under control, and some of them ultimately get consumed by it. And the people are aiding and assisting in that by feeding into their ego. And then we got to come along and remind them. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, somebody said, they would have not even trusted Polite if it wasn't for Sabi. You know what I'm saying? Sabi helped, expand his light and his leverage and his influence. You know what I'm saying? But there's a lot to that. So I can't even get into that. Whew, it's a lot. You feel me? And a lot of this goes back all the way to Dr. York. And we can't ignore the signs. We can't ignore the connections. It would be remiss on us not to make these connections, not to make these observations. You know what I'm saying? It would be remiss. Yeah, so the real issue is to be able to see one's Ori. Like I said, if again, because uh we're coming under the personage of the spiritual community, but there are not a lot of spiritualists in the spiritual community. And spirituality,
utilizing the information
yeah,
that is given. Because if you utilize the information that was being given to you, a lot of things could have been, a lot of
got
things
him.
can still be,
Lightning, yeah.
very trivial things
Shit.
can be dismissed because now I have a certain amount of information that I know how to look for certain things, and so I move accordingly. And so again, in my opinion and observation, it comes back to actually put in practice to the work and the information that you get, so that you
Right.
can utilize some of these. Because at the end of the day, it'll come down to what it's been coming down to.
Right. Your teachers need to have readings. If you fuck around and you following someone who has not had a reading, you don't know what their aura is, you don't know what their aura is, right? You are you're just gambling with your lives at this point and playing with fire, because these niggas sound too good. Like they're gonna spin you with the words, they're gonna spin you with the outfits, they're gonna spin you with the vainglorious stages and positions that they can find themselves in, and you're gonna be blinded by the poor light. It's the same. It's glamour. It's the same shit going on in Hollywood. The studio lights, right? The makeup, the glamour, the shit that you seen exposed in 2020 when they did not have access to the lights or the makeup. You saw them for who they were, and you still went back. So this is us helping you protect yourself against yourself. Because what is it in you that continues to go back?
And that's your work. That's your homework.
That's your
That's
homework.
what you
You need to
do the
investigate.
work on. What is it that, even though I know X, Y, and Z, when I get in the presence of this, all of that goes away? Why? That needs to be your work, and that's very important. That's what comes in knowing thyself. You have to know why you react the way you react, why you think the way you think, why you do what you do. You can't be walking around, I don't know, that's just how I am. If you do, that's cool. But there's other people who are dedicated to finding out why you do the things you do, and that's how they spin you. And it's very easy because some of y'all are so open. So just be mindful. Don't doubt yourself. Take whatever you can, whatever resonates, and whose ever message. Again, you don't have to marry nobody. You do not know them. You don't know what the hell they got going on. Some of them, none of this shit match up with what they say, but maybe they're just here to be a vessel to, maybe they have enough confidence to say some shit. And spirit is using them as a vessel. You don't. Bobby Hemmett was the best teacher because he would tell them, don't follow me nowhere. I only got one thing on my stove, that light. I ain't got no money. Don't follow me nowhere. But I know that this message got to get out to y'all. You feel me? So please, as people, as masses, as those who's listening, you may not have resources or right now know anybody that knows how to do certain things, but you got to learn how to rely on your own intuition. You got to learn how to rely on your own mind, because when we shut these cameras off, it's just you and your people. We not there with you. So we can't be there every step of the way to say, yeah, this is right, fuck with this person, don't fuck with this person. Like, you got to learn. And you got to use with these guys that they wake up and do this all day, every day. So listen to the information, try it out, apply it, and see how it works for you. Don't depend on them every single day to tell you what to do. You feel me? And it's hard. You're not going to know everybody, but that's why you got to build up that intuition. Y'all got kids out here. Y'all are responsible for
y'all
other
are
human
parents.
beings. You feel me? You got to be a little bit more tactful.
Your discernment has to be a little bit more powerful. Like,
you just have
you got
to.
children out here. You know what I'm saying? Look at the results. Do what these people say come true? Do the universe listen to them? You listening to them? Do the universe listen to them? Are they able to instantly manifest? What is their light body? What is their aura? You know what I'm saying? Do you know how to do readings? And do you know how to do pendulum readings? Do you know anyone who does divinations? Can you do a reading on these peoples before you just blindly lead, follow behind them? And all of these tools are available and accessible to you if you know where to look. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, and that's the shit, like, I got chastised by people that were close to me for speaking on what Polite was doing in the community, because they said that's the people, that's on the people, it's on them to figure this shit out. Why are you jumping out here? You know what I'm saying? Speaking on behalf of the people who have been duped. You from the street, you know how this shit go. And I'm like, yeah, granted, but I still feel a responsibility. You know what I'm saying? But I still feel like I need to make a stand. But I still feel like I need to sacrifice some cool points, because this is personal, right? And I don't want this man for himself to be a scammer, right? I want more for him than he apparently wants for himself. And this is me being idealistic and dealing with the promise of, because I'm the John the Baptist card, right? So I'm floored by my instinctual you know consternation, if you will, to say, I see Neo in you, right? On some Morpheus shit. Or I see, some Christ energy in you on some John the Baptist shit. So it's fucking with my idealism to say, damn, I thought that you was the one. You know what I'm saying? You fucking up the whole game plan here by being a piece of shit. You throwing away the biggest possibility ever. And that is to utilize your influence or your intelligence in a way that can impact the world. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Even the Oracle had to tell Neo he wasn't it.
yeah.
You're not it if you don't think you it. I guess you not. Well, I bake extra cookies.
Yeah, I'll bake extra cookies.
You ain't
Why?
him.
You ain't him.
Where that shit? I hear it.
That's over there.
Oh, sound like a drone.
Yeah, these drone bees is different out here. They're literally drones. Like, we thought that we was listening to a drone, and then the beef landed, and the bees don't look like the bees that y'all used to seeing. They look anatomically like drones. They don't even got stingers on them.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't see no stingers.
They don't even got stingers no more. They just drones. They don't got fur on their body. Now they got the fuzzy ones out here. They got the furry ones. You saw the black ones, but they got these drone ones that's yellow and black with these anatomical bodies that look like
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, the Quantumania shit. You know what I'm saying?
Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, it's definitely best not to put our hope in men, and maybe that is my flaw. You know what I'm saying? But I'm working on it.
Put your hopes in
Put your hope in
yourselves
yourselves.
and each other.
Yeah.
Because collectively, you all propel these people. These people are nothing. Well, let me not say that, because they would have had that ability anyway. But you are a contributor to that. If it's not for the masses that tune in, if it's not for the masses that purchase, if it's not for the masses that defend, it's like, what is it? Who are you? So y'all are a huge part of it.
Yeah, shout out to the Jean Baptiste out there. Yeah, so as a John the Baptist card, you know what I'm saying? I'm always doing John the Baptist shit, and thinking that my interactions and interfacing with these young men of potential, that they're like Neos, that they're crises, but that shit is a mythos, and and we operating off of it, and again, it fucks with our ideals because we live in our imagination. But the truth of the matter is, these individuals are terribly flawed, based on whatever their social conditionings may necessarily be, polite. They're not, yeah. In the battles, he didn't know his mama. He grew up in Brownsville. And I'm not sitting here making excuses for him. I'm just saying that we get to know the person that gets presented to us when they get presented to us,
Right. His
and
story.
they got all kind of history that they bring, that they come with, that makes them who they are.
Everybody got something going.
If y'all don't have this book yet, I highly recommend it. You know, Dr. Emoto. Okay, messages hidden in water. Just to tell you everything that you need to know about Mount Shasta waters and these healing regions of the planet that we are being called to do this work. And the work continues at the end of the day. And the work is here for healing. And the work is also here for people, that that need to work through traumas and abuses and that need support from community. You know what I'm saying? That work is still here. So I guess that's the most beautiful message that
Yes, holding
we can leave with, is that we all holding space, we all leveling up. This weekend we did see a lot of people get healed in a short amount of time. It happened. You know what I'm saying? And they can attest to it themselves. I'm not saying this because I'm attempting to sell something. I'm telling you something that I bore witness to, that was shared with me as a confirmation by people who experienced it. Yo, I got some healing. I got to deal with some things. You know what I'm saying? Thank you.
Yeah. Why would you speak on the waters now? These healing powers, please.
Okay. Well, Maui, Mount Shasta is recognized as the root chakra in the planetary grid system. Maui is the heart chakra of the planetary grid system. And I believe Fiji, um, or Tibet, my bad, not because Tibet is the sister. Tibet would be considered the crown chakra, but Mount Shasta serves as both, because as above, so below. So Mount Shasta is the crown and the root. And these healing waters that are here are recognized as some of the strongest healing waters on the planet. Um, Maui, it goes without saying that we know that those are amazing healing waters. But we have to be truthful with ourselves that Maui has just been attacked. The heart chakra has just been, you know, has been attacked. And if they could offset the heart, then that destabilizes the body. So wherever you are, wherever you have access to healing waters, that's the place that you need to go and do the work. You need to do the work in the waters, on the waters, and with the water, so we can restore, right, that power that the water represents. Um, yeah. So what we're seeing in Maui, is either going to make or break a people, and it's going to be the deciding factor in the sway in which this cosmic war of energy goes on this planet and beyond. You know what I'm saying? If we fail to assist them in their moment of darkness by bringing more light, then we're missing the whole point of being light workers. We're missing the whole point of being community. We're missing the whole point of quantum. We're missing the whole point of water. And water is a conductor, you know what I'm saying, it travels. So if we're programming waters here in Shasta, and those waters are spilling into the Pacific Ocean, then those waters are going to Maui, Polynesian Islands, Japan, Fukushima, all the places that we need to call upon for healing. The attack on Fukushima, when they dumped the radioactive debris in the water, that's expounding the attack on Maui. Because how will those be healing waters anymore? And you got plutonium from since 2011 that has been cooking in the pool, now being dumped into the water. There is a prolonged attack on the planet taking place. And I would be like, and we here talking about polite, but that has everything to do with it, because again, these are the people who have positioned themselves as leaderships in this community, but have never led you anywhere, have never done any ceremony. You know what I'm saying? Have never raised any level of frequency outside of doing debates, which is a very acrimonious energy. You know, it's battling, that's war. Where's the love? Where's the peace? You know what I'm saying? Where's the collectiveness? You know, these influences can collect the people, they can collect the souls and create magnificent, you know, arrays of light. They're not doing that.
But it's also, and from my observation, a testament to what needs to be going on again with all of us, you know, um, in terms of taking our power back. And also, whatever it is that we need from the water, or whatever it is that we need to be infused with water. And I'm sure that you will share your testimony or your testaments about your experiences with the water on this trip. But I found that one of the things I found so interesting during that whole catastrophe was how the people, the only safe haven they really had was to run to the water. You know, like, and that was keeping them safe. So again, we have to get back to our connection to the water, our cosmic connections, our ancestral connections, also the illegal things that went down in Hawaii, in the kingdom of Hawaii, things that really don't exist. But again, if the masses, if they agree to it and they go along with it, you know, they just, who's gonna stop them? Again, like those of y'all that's from the projects, as y'all know, I'm from Brooklyn, I'm from Franklin Avenue. That's probably one of the most hustling blocks in Brooklyn. Okay, if you let us, we will do it. Okay, so it's the same thing with, you know, what's going on with some of these power or alleged powers that may have been or whatever. If you let them do it, they're gonna do it. And as we see with a lot, it don't even have to be them. Just, you know, some of our
Skinfolk.
some of the
Oh,
you feel me? Like, even with some of them, you really gonna have to show them that they can't do something. Like, you gonna have to kill me because I'm willing to do anything. So what are y'all willing to do? What are we willing to do as a masses, as a group, as a people, as indigenous people, as cosmic beings? How far are we willing to go?
yeah.
You feel me?
What's how far are you willing to take it?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What you made of? What's your clapback look like? You feel me? What do you have this tantamount to a direct energy weapon? Right? The people have it collectively in their spirit. We have the scalar energy in our, you know, naturally in us. But can we unify? Can the good guys come together long enough to make an impact? Right? Because the so-called bad guys, their consistency is has to be respected. The audacity factor, right? And even with plight, the audacity factor.
Shit, if
Like
nobody
where,
did nothing,
yeah,
why I'ma stop?
why am I stop? Like where do these people get the audacity from? And why does not righteousness compel you to be so audacious in your ability? And you're supposed to have the support of the creator behind you. You know, the sun rises every day. And you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you show up in your light that amplifies the fact that the sunlight, you got so much support, but you need so much support. You know what I'm saying? You got so much support, but you know, we have not unified yet. We have not figured it out. And you got the support of the light. They got the support of the darkness and they running routes. Can't stop, won't stop. How does the sun glaze at 7 a.m.? This 7 a.m. when I was up with the sun, it was very bright. It was a yellow golden light and it amplifies. And those rays, you know, just being intentional enough to get up and do sun gazes collectively wherever we're at on the planet, we can program the cosmos, we could program the sun with our intentions, and it will carry it on the sun rays. You know, if you want to make a difference, if you are a warrior of the light, if you're committed, you know what I'm saying? If you can make those sacrifices, if you want to do the heavy lifting by just being intentional and showing up, sometimes it's just a question of nigga get up and get outside and ground and Let's get into the sun. Wherever we at, there we are. Feel me? But the quote unquote, yes, the sun was calmer today. It was brighter today than it was yesterday morning, but it was peace. It was a little bit more calmer and peaceful. Yesterday it was a little bit more raging, but it was brighter at 7 a.m. and it was a little bit more difficult to sun gaze this morning than it was yesterday. I was looking directly into the sun with both eyes and eating it up. Today it was one eye. That's what I felt, this rising. Yesterday was magical. Me and my baby got so much done on a spiritual elevation level, to be able to see ourselves and one another. Yeah, yesterday was one for the record books.
Yeah.
Easy, hands down. Shout out to Wisdom Bella, my niece.
Bella.
You know what I'm saying?
Big Bella.
Big Bella, double digits.
Double digits.
You know what I mean? We're out here rooting for you. And we found one of your counterparts. We actually literally met an Indigo C yesterday who got her aura reading, and she's goals. She got the violet and blue. Now I got the violet and blue too. See, your phone is off, right? You ain't take that part.
I think I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I
But
did.
it's on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the technology guys, the American guys took out our technology. So our phones don't work no more for now. But when Bay gets her phone back, we taped the live demo of the aura reading, and I was shifting in and out. I was going from indigo to blue, and she'll tell you the colors. But we was with a youngster. How old was she? She was probably 8 or 9.
Maybe between them. Yeah, I'll say between 7 and 10.
Yeah. Between 7 and 10. Indigo.
Yeah, she was all violet.
She was all violet.
All violet.
All violet. She was goals. Like her reading was.
She was getting. They said she communicates with a higher dimension source.
Yeah,
like,
they said
she's wise. She's spiritual. Like,
yeah, like she was a 10-year-old sage.
Yes, literally.
Ready for put her on. Okay, yeah, here go mine. Yeah, I was shifting. I was going through them colors. I had some violets.
You got the violet.
Yeah.
Got a white.
My violets in there.
Indigo.
I had my indigos. You know what I'm saying? But I came out indigo and blue. This baby came out violets and indigos, all violets and indigos. Like she was ready. You know what I'm saying? And that's the shit that I'm talking about. We're not recognizing and realizing these babies for who we are, for who they are. I said it on one of these programs. We need to close shop and just focus on cultivating these star seeds who really have the promise of tomorrow seated inside of them, bedded inside of them. We focusing in too much on these funky ass adults that really don't. They're not going to bring no more promise to the planet. They're on their way out, and they've already given up. These babies got the future in them. You know what I'm saying? These babies is ready for the world. These children. Why are we not focusing on these children? Why are we not pouring into these children? Why are we not getting the readings and seeing which one of these children are the light? You know what I mean? And cultivating a community around them to support their growth and their development. Listening to them.
Yeah.
Feel me?
And we also, as adults, we have to be light, because I'm noticing the children are watching us. So while we see the greatness in them, they're still new, they're still learning, they're still trying to figure out what they want to be and what they want to emulate, and they look towards us. So we have to give them something, that's worth. We have to give them something that's worth emulating. That's worth demonstrating, and You know, they may want to do different things when they're older, but they're fascinated by us.
And
know?
that's so then herein lies the problem and the issue when they watching their parents follow leadership that's faulty.
And they could see it. Faulty.
And that was the issue with Polite back in the day.
So now they looking at their parents. The children
used to come to the parents to be like, yo, I something about him that I don't trust. Yo, something about him. And women were telling me this from the door. Yeah, I don't fuck with your man. Yeah, you can come. Oh, we only here because of you, or such and such, or yo, so the warnings were there. The children know and the women know. The women have always told me shit that I need to know about some of these niggas. Right? And the children damn sure be telling you. But then there are those children, they do get duped because they're following their parents, and it's like the blind leading the blind because they're willing to go wherever their parents will take them.
Or some of them are feeling unmotivated because they don't really want to emulate anything that they see their parents or other adults do. Nothing with it. They don't see the value in that just yet. So, sometimes we see kids that look uninterested, unmotivated because they're not seeing anything that's piquing their interest or something that they want to be a part of. So, be yourselves, but we also have to represent a certain amount of light for these children because we're seeing the value in them and what they could potentially be, but they're also looking at us like what their life could potentially be like. And some of them are not feeling it. Some of them look at the entertainers that ain't shit and think that's what they want, not knowing the truth. And that's what we see a lot of. I'm personally seeing it with these little girls, and it breaks my heart because they're really following this train of have an attitude, have baby hair and eyelashes, don't talk to nobody, be rude, but at the same time, you're not even confident within yourself. You don't even know yourself. You don't know your self-worth, but you see this is how certain other females are acting and you think is getting them attention, but you don't know what's really going on with these women behind closed doors. So again, we have to make sure that, yeah, we're being ourselves, but we do have a responsibility, in my opinion, to the ones coming, after us. When you're around children, I don't know how you feel, but I feel like, damn, I can't do certain things, I'm an adult, I can do whatever I want, but when I'm around you, I don't, it just don't feel right. Certain things just don't feel right around children. And I want to make sure that if they are in my presence or they are seeing me, they feel comfortable, they feel enlightened, they feel imaginative and creative, just certain things like that. I noticed that it is important because I'm seeing how they're processing it, especially at a time now where there's social media and they're not really out in the world like they should be. We got to do better as adults.
Yeah, we gotta do better at adulting. We have to do better at seeing these children, for who and what they are. Even if we can't see, we have to utilize, that external eye, these modalities that can assist you. And
the parents don't know themselves.
Yeah, the parents don't know themselves.
Going on?
You know what I'm saying? They don't know where the gaps in their auras at. Like, let me see that aura reading paper. Like this is very specific because this tells you where the work needs to be done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Big time.
It gives you the whole shit. I know I gotta work. I knew from my Kundalini workshop that I need more work in my navel chakra area. You know what I'm saying? But my base chakra, I got 6 out of 7. You know what I'm saying? My heart chakra, I got 5 out of 7. My throat, I got 6 out of 7. You know what I mean? So it signals to me where work needs to be done, where more work needs to be done. And then there's mantras for that. There's many ways that we can go about utilizing tools to say, yo, specifically, I need to increase the mantras for my heart. You know what I mean? I need to sit with myself. I need to, a lot of these things that we already know is signaling and telling you specifically your work needs to be done at. Now, with all that being said,
They can't wait. Nobody can't wait.
This reading here is mind, body, spirit graph, right? Mind, body, spirit graph. And there's work that needs to be done. I'm not perfect, and I doubt that I will exit this planet quote unquote perfect. And what does that mean? That means to myself, like, oh, I'm where I need to be. I don't need no work to be done. I've totally achieved, nirvana. Now I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think that's gonna happen. But I do see this percentage, this mind, body, spirit graph. This is what I would be considered like. This is the closest to perfection that you can ever be, because I have 35% mind. This is the mind, body, spirit graph gives you an overview of how energies are distributed between body, mind, and spirit. So I have equal distribution in my mind and my spirit of my energies, and 30% for my body. So 35% spirit, 35% mind, 30% body. To me, that's perfection. To me, to me, you know what I'm saying? I need more energy in my mind. I need more energy in my spirit than necessarily I do in my body. My body can compensate for it. But my body's just a vehicle that's housed in spirit, that's driving this shit around like a chauffeur. Like my spirit is a Grey Poupon, man. My body's a Rolls Royce. My mind is the Grey Poupon. Come on, man.
Somebody needs to do a compilation.
Fucking flies, yo.
Red pill clip. Shit, red pill thing.
This is dope. Yin Yang color wheel, right? Again, this is telling you about your body, the balance of your body, the balance of your feminine and male qualities. You know what I'm saying? This shit is so thorough.
Yeah, it's very thorough.
This shit is so thorough. Look, energy level, right? Everything that you need to know about yourself. Energy levels. My shit off the Richter. Light is emotional, red is physical. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm up to snuff. I'm up to par. Like, who needs to go? You going to the doctors and getting a medical readout, and that's cool. You could get blood work done, but have you done a spiritual reading in terms of your auric? You know what's going on in your other bodies, because you have more than just a physical body. You got a spirit. You got 5 subtle bodies that compose you. So I'm gonna go and get the medical diagnostics. I think I might even have some.
I think you did.
Hold on. See? And I'm just doing this. I'm not. This ain't a flex. I'm just saying, like, if you got a leader or a teacher or somebody that you're listening to, know who this person is. This is my God damn it. Yeah, that part.
I wanted to get it so bad, but I want his voice.
That part right there, nigga. Wake your ass up to who you are, right? In real time. Smack yourself, go upside your motherfucking head, right? So you will not be led astray. And let this information hit you upside your head the same way. So this is my in-body test. This is telling me everything that's going on in my physical body. You feel me? In my physical body. This tells me how much, what my weight is, what my body fat mass is. Total body water, 90.6. Dry lean mass, body fat mass, 15.1 pounds, right? I don't got no body fat. I got all dry lean. I got all muscle, right? Got all muscle. Structural muscle mass 69.7, right? left arm, right arm, trunk, right. So this even tells me which arm is stronger, percentage wise. You know what I'm saying? Body composition, body fat, lean mass, result parameter. I mean, everything that you could possibly know. Look, 3,000 to 3,200 calories per day. My body burns without me even working out. Feel me? I need 200 grams of protein a day to keep up with myself. Okay? This is telling me everything that I need to know about my physical needs, my body, right? Inside of my body. This is telling me everything that I need to know about my emotional, spiritual body. All right. Here goes all of my indigo personalities because even though my aura is blue, right, as you can see, majority of my readings are indigo. Right, my aura is blue. You know what I'm saying? But everything else, I mean, I got two indigos, I got three blues. She got three indigos.
Yeah, because my
One,
my
two.
Ori is indigo.
Yeah, she got three indigos, two blues.
We got the same thing. We just have different Oris.
Yeah, we got different auras, but I got work to do. You know what I'm saying? I got work to do to mine. I'm the mouthpiece. She's the brain.
I'm the brain that I will think you the brain right now.
Yeah, that part. So again, it's just at the end of the day, it's just like the work. What does the work look like? It's a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? Once you arrive at it, once you achieve these levels of transformation in your own personal journey. You know what I'm saying? Once you make yourself available and susceptible to have a partner as amazing as this young lady, I had to work for this.
I had to work for this. It wasn't easy. You seen what we working on the outside. It was gonna be me and some cats. There you came. But yeah, for real. And don't be afraid to. One of the things that I learned from this trip, especially hiking up the mountain, hiking up Shasta, we went a lot higher than I've ever been, thanks to my wonderful, wonderful baby right here for pushing us. Thank you for pushing us to our greatness. But one of the things that I learned is that, it's okay to make a mistake. It's okay if you slip, but keep going. Find your breath.
And it's okay to take your time.
Yeah, take your time.
Right, because it's not a competition.
It's not a competition. Be on your time. You're gonna, you may slip sometimes, because I slip and I take my time in getting up that mountain. Just like I do in my life. I make sure that whatever's going on with me is something that I could deal with, that I could work through, that I know my part that I played in it, because that's really the only thing that I can control. And once I learn my lesson from that, I move forward with what I've just learned, and don't always think about, how bad you'll fail or how hard you'll fall. Just, learn. See, I ain't hit you, but you gonna hit me?
I did.
You did.
I did.
I love you anyway.
So it was that
y'all
hat.
saw that, right?
It was the hat, and it was only.
Y'all see?
It was nails.
I let you slap yourself.
I scraped the hat with my nails. You ain't even get no flesh on that. It was a nail swipe. That's spiritual.
It hit my cornrow and I felt
That's spiritual. It was nails. It was a nail swipe. Yeah. I appreciate it. I couldn't let them be on you like that.
I know you always protect me from this.
Come on now.
You do. You always protect me from these.
Look, y'all.
That they be
y'all
trying
don't
to
understand
eat me,
my insect duties. Y'all don't understand how I'll wake up and throw a shoe and it'll hit. Yep. Boop, and I protect her in the illest ways
because I can't sleep
from these insects
with some creatures.
And then I'll save it. She won't even see it. It'll be behind her, and I'll get up politely.
Yeah, you do real good with that. Yeah,
body it, boom, and be like, "You ain't had nothing to worry about. I got you."
Yeah, you do. You real good at it. So I don't be. I don't be tripping, because I will trip. I will lose it. I will lose it.
She will lose it.
Yep, and you know.
She's from Franklin. Yeah.
You know me.
We breaking her into the wild.
Yes, sir.
But she's from Franklin Avenue and the Eastern Parkway. So They roaches don't fly down there.
Nah.
They do in Georgia.
But yes, just don't be afraid to make a mistake. Just do your best to learn from your mistakes and do better. That's it. Understand yourself inside and out as best as you can. And all that. But yes, thank you. Because you definitely protected me.
Yeah, so we got another journey to go on today.
One more today.
One more journey before we get back to the A. So I want to say thank you once again. Come on, plug this.
I thought you did.
I did not.
I think you did. Yeah, we got one more journey today. Then it's back to the A.
Yeah, one more journey today. Then it's back to the A to get ready for Stone Mountain. To help us, to assist in that level of transformation because Atlanta needs a lot of work.
Yes.
A whole lot. We're being very intentional.
Y'all see how slick he be moving back here.
Being very intentional.
Your monk shit.
A lot of work needs to be done. We're gonna execute and get it done. We'll see you on the mountain.
Yes.
Tap in. As much as this is a celebration, it also is work that needs to be done in behalf of ourselves, our family, our people, and the planet. You know what I'm saying? So please show up, ready to do some cosmic work. You know what I mean? And all of the work takes place in your workshop is your heart. Your workshop is your mind. You know what I'm saying? So that heart mind alignment, we're gonna do any and everything to bring it up out of you so we can magnify, on that crystal and we can send this love and this light rippling through the cosmos and it could reverberate and come back to us magnified, amplified. So I want to say thank you. Appreciate this time, this opportunity to have this discourse with you. Um, Again, let's send a prayer to that young lady, that 14-year-old who's no longer 14, who must be coming into her. I can't say, it's not the adulthood. Let's say it's like 17 or something.
Yeah, maybe 16.
Yeah, that's a pinnacle point in time when young women learn about their sexuality and the hormones are moving, and she's gonna be dealing with some things in her mind, grappling, you know. So let's send her some light, some cosmic energy, mind energy. We are all one mind. We do share the same mind, but there's dark crevices and corridors, and back doors of the mental space. You know what I'm saying? The mind can go deep. Subconscious is the bottom of the ocean. It's the deepest crevices. So let's keep it on the higher frequency of the higher mind, where the light shineth, and let's send that light, let's send that love, let's send the compassion, let's send the healing to the places where it's needed most. But you can only give it if you have it for yourself. So allow yourself to be healed, allow yourself to be a vessel of light, allow yourself to show up for you before you could show up for anyone else. All right. And with that, I'm going to say peace, love, and lights.